Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, Saturday morning. I'm gonna start out by unloading these 11 bales I picked up yesterday afternoon. And then we're gonna head down to the shop. We're gonna take a look at the brush hog. Then from there, we're probably gonna go up on the hill and grab a load of bales so we don't get too far behind on that. Then around 11-ish or so, I got more hay to rake, and this afternoon, we got more hay to bale. So yesterday was pretty decent in the baling aspect. Everything went really, really well. Got some decent bales, and it only took Dad about 2 hours to bale up what he had. And normally that's like probably a 3-hour bale job, what he did up there. We're gonna unhook the 1411 disc bind, take the 29 down, and go grab a load of bales. And then when we come back, I'm gonna take the 29 and rake hay. So we're up here on top of the hill. We're gonna grab a load, and then while Dad starts unloading it, I'm probably gonna go start raking hay. But typically what we'll do is we'll come onto this field, we hang a right, and we'll start picking up these bales and just make a loop. Once we get a full load, we take her home. So we got this little half-acre chunk down here done, and then this is about 4 or 5 acres. So those two are done. Really nice windrows in both of them, a lot of good grass. So I'm actually checking what Dad cut yesterday, because if we let the stuff I just raked sit for 2 hours, it'll take a good hour for him to bale that, which means this stuff will sit for almost 3 hours. And the top is definitely dry on top. We're a little wet on the bottom, like dewy wet, not super green. But up here, there was some really thick Timothy. If this is dry or pretty close, that's 90%. That's all bluegrass. I think we raked this up. Just about done with this. I got this straight, 2 laps, and I'm out of here. Pretty cool view from up here. All right, Dad's making his first bale. Okay. Back to the acceptable range. You know, like this. I'm not sure why this happens. I mean, I would say it's not worse than it was before. I don't see how it would be worse. But it is not going to take long to fill a bale today. These are decent windrows. This hay seems pretty darn nice. I'm not so concerned that the baler's doing something, you know, really bad. Like, I'm just trying to, like, critique, and I want to get that net wrap as perfect as possible. But this thing's like I've said, this thing's like 98% where I want it to be, and that's still really dang good. Not bad, not bad, not bad. All right, so this end of the field is a little wet, but the hay is dry. Just you're getting a little bit of wetness on the tires. So I just remembered I gotta rotate the cows and they have to go on the yellow water. So we're gonna do that quick before we go check on Dad. And honestly, I can see Dad anyways. So he is up on the stuff that he cut yesterday and he's just bucking along. Yeah, that baler is really nice. Alrighty, we have got some pretty darn decent good looking calves. I believe this is our mic drop bull. He definitely has some depth, I would say. He's coming along pretty nice. It's another one of our bulls. Which one is this? And it stinks because their tags are so dirty because they've found these little pockets of mud. Who are you? You got to get so dang close to them. I think that's our True Justice bull. I think. You know, it'll be interesting to see who's bred, who's not this year. I mean, our yearlings like this, I think this is McFats right here. They're still all looking really, really good. No issues there. Some of our first calf heifers, though, they are a little skinny. All right, right there. And I'll try and tag it before. That was the two fleck heifers side by side. Because for me, that's gonna be the decision which fleck heifer stays and which one doesn't. Here's our eagle. Doing pretty decent. This is that 75 bull, starting to darken up a little bit, so he's a factor out of a state of war. What is this? I think this is our true, yep, this is our True Justice daughter out of DF 431. Pretty nice looking calf. And this is our 90% sure it's our mic drop. Yep. That's our mic drop out of a True Justice. That's out of a first calf heifer. So she's doing a pretty decent job. Nah, that photo. Oh, Jesus. Well, get back here. I'll give you scratches. God, what a snot. I gave her scratches back there and she comes over and tosses her head at me. This is one of our mic drops right here. Which one are you? Some of these guys are gonna need, oh, puffy face, that's KM. So out of another cowboy cut daughter. And then we haven't checked up on my Dominion, which is right there. Yeah, here's 53. So this is the one that has the True Justice bull. She's actually looking pretty darn good from where she was 2 months ago, surprisingly. She was very scraggly. I like the fact that she is all slicked off. That shows she's doing all right. If she gets bred back, good. I'm actually a little surprised she's stuck to her AI for this year, for this calf. because she was kind of the same. She was pretty skinny. She was putting it all into her calf the first go around. And then here's our bold ruler bull. Oh yeah, I showed you him because he lost his tail. But here's our Dominion. He got crapped on a couple times. Cher's doing okay. She's not great condition, but she's holding on. And again, we just want her to get rebred. I think long term she'll be okay, but she's on thin ice. If she comes open this year for any kind of reason, then she's gone. Actually, that holds true for any of the flex. That is come to an end. The market is too nice. These guys are pretty happy. I think they'll like that bale. That fresh bluegrass is always a good option. Like even the cows, they can eat on anything for a few weeks, and then you give them a bale of the bluegrass and they just jump to it. It's just, I don't know if it's like the taste. I think it's just because it's so soft. Anyways, all right, that's enough for one day. Catch you guys tomorrow. All right, good morning. Sunday morning, and getting her going here. On the dock for today, Dad messaged me this morning, thought it'd be a good idea for us to grind corn today, or at least this morning. Summer grinding, and again, this should be our last grinding of the summer. This should last long enough because it's just the steers. This should last long enough to get us to weaning time, which will be end of, yeah, probably third week of September, last week of September, give or take. All right, we got the grinder going. We got about 150, 200 pounds of oats in there. So that should work out pretty nice. A little extra, plus it gets this guy emptied out finally. But I gotta take the spout off, and then when we're done here, then we'll run this guy clean and we'll be able to take it off. It just, up in the barn for the last 2 months, it hasn't hurt anybody being up there, so no big deal. These guys are kind of hanging out in the long shed. There's just enough space for them. I gotta let them into the loafing shed. That's a little nicer spot. But they're all kind of like, hey, wait a minute. Is that the grinder? You got grain for us? Yes, I do. So let's get them a little grain. A fresh coating of fly spray. Those guys should be set for the day, which is really nice. And they do have spots to get out of the shade. I just locked them out of the barn for a while. They've been in there, been able to go in there for so long. They got the little shed in the BDA to get out of the sun there too. So but once they're done with this, they'll probably go out and start eating again. All right, firing up the last batch. This should only be like a half hopper full. Load up to here, and then we should be done. So it ended up being a little bit light, but not a huge deal. We got to do a small grinding, I don't know, first week of September. Not a big deal. All right, we got the New Holland Discbine 1411 hooked back up. Dad's just gonna go kitty corner across the field. We're gonna go behind the house and we're gonna cut our oats. The stuff we planted as our emergency hay crop, because honestly we did not have any faith in the hay that was there. Okay, so Dad is close behind. I gotta pull some of these fence posts out so that we can drive over. The other thing we did do is we did tilt the head down a little bit, because this is mostly just a one crop, one and done deal. So we're gonna cut it as short as we can, we still have the high stubble shoes, so we'll still be like around 4-inch stubble. Still not a big deal. And I am wondering if like by the time we get to like the end of August or something, that we might be able to let the cows out here with like 6-8 inches of grass, which I would totally do, and let them scalp the heck out of it, because we didn't seed anything down in here. It was just straight oats. So we got a good start to this field. Dad's gonna cut for a little while, and then I'll check on him in like an hour. I told him I would definitely cut, because honestly I wouldn't mind cutting, but he likes his seat time. But this is going really well. So this is the height that we're going with. So anywhere from, you know, some spots maybe 3 inches, then obviously some spots, some of this stuff is maybe 4 even to 6. Like this is like, that's actually like 8 inches tall. So, but whatever. I'm guessing that this is just like quack grass or something like that. Not really sure exactly what grass it is. Obviously there was grass here, but that's not bluegrass. It's most likely not rye. It's probably just like a weed type quack grassy garbage. But honestly, it's grass. It's fine for me. I don't care. It's grass, and it's gonna mix with these oats really well, because what we're getting is like this. This is a really nice, like almost like cross section where we're cut here, and then we've got in a lot of spots like here. This is like a foot tall of this grass, and then we have our oats, which is anywhere from like knee to thigh high. Like all this stuff in here is all knee, is thigh high. This one right here is belly button. So we're gonna get a lot of really nice mix between the oats and the grass. So this typically happens when we do oats like this. You get like this rust. Some of those bottom leaves have a little bit, I don't know if it's a fungus or what, but it starts collecting on the disc spine, and it looks like rust. We got her finished up. Obviously there's some spots out here that aren't spectacular. You know, when you're going down here, you know, there's some spots that were a little wet and things like that. But then you got stuff that you've seen on, that you guys seen. I mean, that stuff's at least waist high, you know, and then you just look at the row, and I think what this is, this might be, so I think what this stuff is, and it's headed out in the drain ditch where some of the oats were a little thinner and shorter, is this is just really short foxtail. I don't know if it came up in such abundance because we plowed the whole field and then had a really like June was, I mean, obviously really wet, but that's potentially what it is. I guess would kind of explain it. But when you get it before it heads out, it's actually pretty decent grass. At least that's what I've heard or seen or read. But yeah, speaking of red, you get, and this is just that like dust that's coming off the oats because of just the stage it's at. It's like a rust. I think it's just overall ultimately just a fungus. I have not heard or seen that it is detrimental to the animal. But what's kind of neat is when I kept saying like we're gonna wait, we want to cut it when this is in the milk, is you look at this, all this white, this is from the oats being in the milk or having the juice before it fills and hardens and becomes like an actual oat. So if you peel the little husk off here, and hopefully you guys can see this. Oh no, oh there it is. You see that little white there? That is the milk. So that's where a bunch of the starches and all that kind of stuff that I believe form into, they are obviously hardened and everything and become an actual oat. But at least that's my very basic knowledge of oat life. All right, we have come to the end of the day. I don't need to give the steers any more grain. They didn't quite finish what they had this morning, probably because it got a little warm and they want to hang out in the shade, which is fine. They'll finish it later. They still have access to the BDA. Had a pretty good weekend. We're done cutting first crop, like done. There's no more first crop to cut. Finally, frickin' finally. And then for like regular hay, first crop, we're done. Finishing that stuff up at the neighbors. Regular hay wise, we are done. And then hopefully Tuesday, we finish hay period for first crop. It is the end of the day, it is the end of the weekend, so it's the end of another video. Please hit that thumbs up button as always. And if you got any questions, just want to say hi, throw them in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, help support the channel, help us to get to our goal of 2,000 subs. Whether we get it tomorrow, which would be sweet, whether we get it tomorrow or we get it next week or next month, it doesn't matter. We'll get it sooner than later with your help. Just hit that subscribe button, get to our goal of 2,000 subs, and then we'll see where we go from there. And as always, thanks for coming along.